What's up, everybody? It's your favorite upgrade kid's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Magic Square 2.0 Ultra Magnus. It's like the armor that goes with their white prime. Very G1 toy-esque in that regard, but pretty accurate. I've already got issues with this thing, but I've already got things I like about it also, so we're going to go through it. It's, of course, on loan to me from Robert D, so shout out to him and the rest of the dummies just because. And we'll go ahead and get started, but in order to start, we're going to start with accessories. He comes with his blaster. Little bit of sculpt work, zero paint, and a peg that collapses, and he can hold it just fine. And that can store between the middle of the arm upgrades, kind of snapped in place in the center. He comes with the two kind of signature rockets. The tips of the rockets are painted red, so to speak, and they'll tab on right onto the side in typical kind of Ultra Magnus fashion. Of course, they'll also peg into the side of his shoulders as well. They can also peg into the side of his souped up armor as well. Which brings us to vehicle mode, and it works pretty well. One issue that I have with it is like, it has a little tab here. Obviously, this does not come with this, by the way. This is their white prime. Is a separate purchase. All you get is the trailer and the accessories. It has this tab here, or peg, that you would assume pegs into something, but it doesn't. You just kind of have to sit it there and then just hope for the best. So, like, dumb. Very, very dumb. Hate it. Hate to see it. But as you can see, forward and back it works fine. You get to turning them. Well, I guess it's working fine there too. All right, okay. But anyway, it just leaves a little bit to be desired. So let's just talk about this for a bit, then we'll do a size comparison. I love all the sculpted detail throughout. It looks awesome. These flaps here in the back, you can get them to kind of go down like a ramp. However, just be careful that the whole thing doesn't fall apart. That is part of the issue. Part of the issue. Stop it. It is an issue that this guy faces, as things kind of falling apart. Let's see. The other thing I have an issue with is the difference in color here and here. I'm not sure why that is, but don't care for that one bit. And the only thing I should notice, you should take note of, I guess, rather, is that this material feels like they're Stunicons. It's the more, see what I mean? It's the sturdier plastic. It's the nicer feeling plastic. So, you know, that's a good thing, at least in the way it feels. In terms of how it actually works, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's fine. There it is with Tiger Tracks. So, significant little size. As you can see, I'm having all sorts of issues. Like, this thing just keeps falling apart. It is extremely obnoxious. Specifically the feet and then these side flaps here. And the whole reason why this happened is because I showed you how the ramps work. So it's your fault. No, I just mean that, like, you know, that you can't mess with it too much or it's going to start falling apart. So, yeah, let's get out of this. Alright, so this is the Prime in robot mode. If you want to see the transformation, I have a video going over the transformation of this Prime. So once you get into robot mode, take the head off, take the hands off, and extend the front toe so that it's off center there. And you're going to have to open that up a bit, but you can fine-tune that when you get to putting them together. Next step is to completely disassemble this. So I'm going to take these off because they've been dying to come off all day. And I'm going to try to keep like items together. The shoes come off. These panels, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. They all come off. There's 2. And, oh, this is together. Let's see. Here's more on the other side. And that slides off. And the head comes off. And the pelvis piece comes off. And then these two separate. And then as for this separates. All of these pieces come apart on the arm. This is another piece that kept coming apart for me when I was messing with it prior to. Oh, and this piece comes off as well. Did I show that? No. The miscolored piece, that slides off as well. Once again, boom, boom, boom. That's the elbow, I think. So that's fine. That stays together. Oh, but this piece comes out. And I don't know if we're supposed to take this off or not. It's hard to say, really, because it's just so many pieces that have to come apart. There, I think that's it. All right, so then we got to start putting it together. So bring the wheels down on the shoes. Open up the foot. Slide his foot in. Bring it back down. Tab it back together. Bring the wheels back up. Same for the other side. Wheels down. This piece up. Foot in. This piece down. Tabs in. And wheels come up. Moving right along, we're going to take these pieces, flip down this white section there. I don't know if you need to open that or not. Bring this up. And this blue tab there needs to clip into the back of the leg. So we'll go ahead and do that times 2. There. Then you're going to take these plates and peg them in. Easy said than done. There. Oh, it's giving me a hard time. There. Then we have the thigh covers. They're going to go on. Just slide them on the side. You can lift these hip skirts up too. I forgot to do that. And we'll do the other side. And then we want to take these, and I'm trying to remember, I think they go like this. Yes, and they slide right on there. Same on this side. And then you want your pelvis piece. You're never going to believe where that goes. This is coming up a little undone. I might have to sort it out here in a second. But open this up. This sits in between. And then on the back, this piece that had his head attached, just remove the head, enjoy the brains. And then connect that onto the back there. All right, and then we'll do the arms. So you want to take these pieces, open up, and spin out the hand. Same for the other one. Tight little joint there. And then just orient them properly. Let's see. And I think that this is supposed to be like that. And then you just put his gloves on, basically. Same on the other side. Except I think you're supposed to have it so, like just like so that the piston there is on the top. And then you have the shoulder pieces. And I believe you want the silver accent of the deco facing the front. If that's not the case, that's how I would want it. I think that actually may not be the case. It's not. See, these are offset, so these have to be at the front. So that means it goes on like this. But let me show you what the problem is with that. Now, you have this little sculpted detail on this side, but not on this side. Whereas you could have had them both looking like that. So that's a bit of a bummer. Then you have this piece, which you have to slide apart. This becomes the kind of backpack of sorts. You got to make sure that you can fit that sort of flush. And that comes into the side here and encapsulates the side. And then you take this other piece, fold up your flank, and this comes around and encapsulates the front and tabs in to the back plate. Then you can take his head and stick that on as well, so to speak. So there he is. So let's talk about him. We'll start with the head sculpt, which is great. Really good job. They don't always nail their heads and faces, so I love to see it. It's on a peg. The peg is on a hinge, so you get up, down, and the swivel. The face is painted, the eyes are painted, the little crest is painted, and the antenna are painted. Quite nice. It's the same Optimus shoulders. Unfortunately, because of the pauldrons, you're a little limited in how far you can go out to the side. And when I say little, I mean a lot. You do get the swivel 360, and they do want to come off. You get the bicep swivel still, you get a single hinged elbow still, and you get a wrist swivel on the new piece. You get the little silver accent there, and then the silver accents on the back. As for the abdomen, you get the waist swivel, and you get a little bit of an ab crunch forward and back, but not much. We have the hip skirts that they'll get up and out of the way a bit for you to get out to the side to about there. Let's back the camera out a taste. So a little limited. Forward and back is, I mean, it's next to nothing. Oof. Yeah, that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. Thigh swivels there. Double jointed knee gets you a great run. Ankles, you get a little bit of an ankle tilt up, nothing down, and a little bit of a rocker. And there he is from the back. So, I mean, the gimmicks work, the aesthetics work, but functionality as an action figure, it's not the best, unfortunately. Now, there's also this like souped up version you can do. And in order to do that, you have to have like access under his arm and tab in these extra plates that they just, I mean, let's just be honest, they didn't know what else to do with them. But now they've given you something to do with them, and that something is throwing them up under the arm. So you can do that, which is well enough, I suppose. Do that on both sides. The next piece is a little bit more kind of natural, and that is these things. So you flip out that part, so that does a 180, and then you have to connect so that they're sitting over top of each other, and then bring this down and around so that it sits like this, and then you just angle that off to the side, and then you tab that in to the shoulder where like the normal missiles would go. And that you got that look, and you just do that to the other side as well. Then you're left with these two things, and you flip out this, and honestly, you can leave this like this, or you can separate them so that this kind of laser is in effect, and then you tab it into, or peg it rather, into the back of his shoulder for an over the shoulder weapon. And we'll get him all souped up and take a look at it during final thoughts. Size comparison wise, there he is with our usual suspects, the old school Iron Factory blaster and the new, or not really new anymore I suppose, but the Stunticon Legends figure from Combiner Wars era. And there he is with Iron Factory Tarn, so I think that's a pretty good scale. And I get to get Iron Factory Tarn back on my shelf. I've had him off while I was doing all these Legends reviews, and he finally gets to go back, so that's an added bonus for me. final thoughts wise, we'll start with the negatives, and the negatives are mainly just one thing, and that is that this is a form over function toy. Like, it doesn't really function. It doesn't really work all that well as an action figure, but it does look great. I still have this issue with this off-color piece of thigh here, and I guess they did it to match this off-color piece down here, but I think it'd be better if both of these pieces just matched the rest of the white. It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot negative to say outside of that. It's just the articulation sucks. Like, the shoulders suck, the feet aren't great, the thighs are miserable, or the hips rather. It's just, unless you have him standing in an A pose, you're gonna be really hard pressed to get him to do anything that looks remotely cool. And that's a real bummer, because there's a lot that I do enjoy about this figure. It's just more of a statue than it is a figure. It's like have you seen these hot toys recently? Like, they're like limited articulation hot toys. Like the King Shark one is one where they go the extra mile for some aesthetic cues, but as a result, the poses are extremely limited. Like, that's what this is in third-party Legends. Positives wise is that I like the materials, at least for Magic Square. They feel much better than usual. The paint accents look good. The sculpt is fantastic. All the sculpted line work and stuff. There is a kind of element to this that scratches that G1 nostalgic itch of like making the puzzle element of Ultra Magnus work. Simultaneously, there's a bit of a callback to like Fans Project City Commander. Like, all of those things come to the forefront, and I do appreciate them and notice them. But this is a E for effort for me. It just isn't effective, and as you like manipulate it, stuff pops off, stuff falls off. Like, just take my word for it. I wish I was just filming when I was getting this pose ready, which is the best I could do without losing my mind anyway. Yeah, this is just not their best effort at all. It's like it's a cool idea and a cool thought. It's just not super effective, and some stuff is actually surprisingly effective, like how the feet really lock into the Magnus armor. That stuff's great, but just as you get into the arms and stuff, it just begins falling apart. Plus the limited articulation, all that stuff, like, it's not good, man. Unless you're gonna put it in an A stance and put it on your shelf, my advice is pass. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.